Diansheng Galaxy Megaminx, not to be confused with the X-Men Galaxy Megaminx. I don't have that many other Megaminxes to compare it to except for this one Yihu that I bought quite some time ago to compete in Megaminx once, and I have slowed down this cube too much with loop, and I could technically clean out the loop and make it faster, but at the same time I also do find that this cube is just a bit big and heavy, and the Diansheng is actually a lot lighter and faster feeling, and it's also a bit smaller, which I do enjoy quite a lot more, and I can just generally hit much more turns per second. It has a very strong magnetic ball core, so how a strong core corner magnet feels is very different from how a strong piece magnet feels. So the Valk 5 is an example of a cube with very strong piece magnets, and the turning is totally flat, but once you reach the end it snaps quite hard. Whereas the Hong 5x5 is something that has strong core corner magnets. So what you notice with this cube is when you begin your turn and throughout the whole first half of your turn, you're actually turning with more effort, but for the second half of your turn, it finishes with less effort. Yeah, just for info, my Valk 5 actually has yet to be modded with core corner magnet. Context of Megaminx, I do find that the core corner magnets really add a lot of stability, especially since there's much more faces than in the cube. I find that the effortless turning combined with a really strong ball core is quite a good combination. Whereas on the cube, I do find sometimes like if the ball core is too strong, it can also feel a little bit awkward, but the Megaminx is less so. The auto alignment of the Diansheng Megaminx is also quite strong. It can align itself from about 1/3 of a piece. Okay, sometimes it doesn't, but sometimes the friction is a little bit too much to align on its own, but you can still feel quite a strong pull back to alignment. One very unique feature of the Diansheng externally are the curve cuts, which compared to other Megaminx, they have a straight cut and it ends at a point, whereas the Diansheng has a curve cut and the edges are much bigger. Overall makes the corners and edges feel a little bit more even, and I don't think finger tricking or grabbing the edges are that common in Megaminx. This is obviously not my main event. Theoretically, it might be easier to look ahead for the edges because they are physically bigger.
This Megaminx has been bought from CubeWorks, the cube store that you should be going to if you're in Singapore. Located at Katong Shopping Center. The store has an online platform and a coaching service at CubeWorks Academy. Use discount code LIE for 10% off.
The Diansheng Galaxy Megaminx comes with a shallow Weilong mechanism. So by Weilong, what I mean is the edges have this pair of wings that come out and they dig underneath the corner like that. This design has taken over quite a lot of 3x3s as well beyond the Moi brand, but for the Megaminx it's not as common. Now I'm going to explain what I meant by shallow, which is, if you notice with the Yihu and I would say other brands of Megaminx as well, the corner actually is the stock that goes quite deep into the puzzle. Whereas on the Diansheng Megaminx, the corner stock is much shorter and it's actually much higher up, and nearer the surface compared to the Yihu, that you can have more empty space inside the cube. The shallow design leaves more room for the corner bases to be bigger, and the empty space just also lets it be lighter. And also the corners have this very long stock to put the magnet in. It's kind of like what I did to my Ultron WRM, where I put a rod here so I can descend it deeper into the core. Which in the case of the Diansheng Megaminx, you can see that the ball core is also of a small radius. Of course, it's much bigger than that of a cube because the Megaminx has just small faces. Relative to the height of the corner base is actually much higher than the core, which equals a wider attraction angle. And also because of how close the magnets are, they're also quite strong. So overall, I'm obviously not a Megaminx solver in general. I did learn some of the last layer elks, but I've forgotten them and I've reverted back to using the beginner method. My main events are mostly big cubes, and my main reason for getting this is I just want a Megaminx that's nicer and more fun to use compared to the only one that I currently have on hand right now, and the Diansheng Galaxy Megaminx definitely gets the job done. Compared with other Megaminxes on the market, it's kind of in semi-budget tier. It's not as expensive as things like the Diansheng B2 Megaminx, but it's also a little bit higher than things like the Yihu. After all, you're getting a rather strong ball core, and I do think the design of this cube is rather solid. So I wouldn't have that much to comment on the price. I think it's pretty normal for what you're getting.